What brands that I used to pick up at the thrift store that I'm not going to pick up anymore in 2024 to resell online? Stick around, let me show you. Welcome back into the channel, everybody. If you're new, my name is Brad. I've been a full-time reseller for only a year now, but I've been actually selling clothing online since 2016 and other antiques collectibles way before that. But a lot of you know I go live often. I show you exactly what I sell. I pack it. I show you how much I sell it for, yada, yada, yada. So if you want to know about reselling, definitely subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell because I do go live often and I give a ton of information about reselling. Now, I want to let you know, Happy New Year, and I want to start off the new year with brands that I'm not going to pick up anymore. Now, with that being said, I'm going to be telling you brands that I'm not going to pick up anymore for the most part. And again, at my buy cost. So let's say my buy cost is $5 across the board. So for $5, I'm not going to pick this up anymore. Of course, if you go to the bins and you find something that I'm mentioning for $1, it might be worth your time. And every business model is different. But these are the brands that I'm not going to pick up anymore because it just did not sell quickly for me, if at all. I will also say for each one of these brands, there's always going to be an asterisk. And those of you who know me know I always say there's an asterisk to every brand because there is. There are the one-offs, there's the 1 or 2%, maybe 5% that do sell well. But for the most part, I'm not picking these brands up anymore. Starting with Under Armour polos. I've sold Under Armour polos since the very beginning. I buy them for $5. I used to be able to sell them for $18, $20 pre-owned in good condition. Now I'm really lucky to get $15, $16. Buyer pays shipping on everything, by the way. And $15 to $16 in 90 days. I'm lucky to get that. Now, the bigger the better, the size, or if the polo has a lot of patterns, that helps out. But just a solid Under Armour polo that used to be a bread and butter everyday polo, I'm not going to be picking those up anymore. Why? Because I have a whole tote full of them that did not sell last summer and spring. So that tells me that I probably should be picking them up for this coming year. To go along with the golf polo shirts, I'm going to bring in FootJoy polos. Now, FootJoy pants and shorts, all good. FootJoy, like the dry joy quarter zips and full zip jackets, some of those sell really well. But polos just have sat for me. They just have been dead in the water. Again, if things sit for an entire season and don't sell very well, even when I price them down, that tells me I'm not going to pick them up anymore for the following season. So last year, FootJoy polos just did not sell well for me. There were only a few that did, and I've talked about those in my live before. Again, the all over prints and stuff like that. Or even the Titleist patch, like a tour polo from FootJoy. But yeah, for the most part, I'm just not going to pick those up anymore for $5 because they barely sell at $15. Another brand that I used to pick up and get super excited when I picked it up is called Mack Weldon. It's one of those in and out brands. So having done this for a while, you're going to find the brands that come in and come out with style. Then there are other brands that just stick around for a while. Like you all know I love Polo Ralph Lauren. That brand sticks. Nike is pretty good at sticking around. Forever it sells. But there are brands that come in, they're hot for a little while, and then they leave. One of those is Mack Weldon. I don't pick them up anymore. There for a while, I could pick up a polo shirt, sell it online for $25 pretty much within a week, and everything was gravy. But anymore, I picked those up last season and they sat. And I mark them down to $15 and they still sit. Again, I'm paying $5, buyer pays shipping, I pay eBay fees, I only sell on eBay, and it just wasn't worth the time. So if they sell quick and I could sell them for $15, maybe, but they sat for $15. So Mack Weldon is a no all the way around for me. They make sweatpants, they make shorts, they make polos, but all the way around, I skip on Mack Weldon now. The next brand I want to discuss is a very expensive retail brand. Now they sell this brand at Nordstrom's, it's Rag & Bone. Unfortunately, Rag & Bone has just gone downhill again for me. Like Mack Weldon, I don't know, it could be a company that brings out new styles or new items and does well. But for the most part, they're known for having skinny leg jeans for women. They do make men's clothing. I will sell some men's clothing, but for the most part, I really don't like picking up Rag & Bone anymore. I used to be able to pick up the women's jeans maybe 3 years ago, and they would sell for in the 30s easily within just a few weeks or a month. Now I'm lucky to get in the 20s for them. So great brand, great material, great fit for the personal if you like that thing, but they just don't sell. So I'm not going to pick them up. And actually those cost me $7.99. So definitely not picking those up anymore. And along with that brand, I'm going to tag in there All Saints. So All Saints used to be a really good brand as well. And I have been selling some All Saints, some men's sweaters and a couple polo shirts. And I have sold some rag and bone men's stuff, but for the most part, those brands used to be super hot and they've gone downhill. So I'm really, really picky. I'm not going to pick up much of either one of those brands in 2024. Now, if you've been a reseller for a long time, you're going to know this next brand. It's called Miss Me Jeans. So it's a funny story with Miss Me Jeans. They sold really, really well. I would say pre-pandemic, they were really hot sellers. You found them, they sell for $50 or $60. A lot of our thrift stores locally got wind of that, so they started pricing them up. And they're still priced at like $20. I don't pick them up at $7 anymore. The only way I'd even pick them up at $7 if they're a bigger size, like a size 32, women's obviously. But they just don't sell like they used to. You probably get them for $4 or $3 at a garage sale, and it might be worth it. But for me, at $8 at a thrift store is just not worth the time. They sit, they just don't sell like they used to. So thrift stores can keep pricing them up. They end up going to the bins. I'm not picking them up anymore. This next brand is like LuLaRoe all over again, but just in a smaller form. It's called Zia Active. So I remember when Zia came out, it's one of those pyramid scheme type things. I don't know. My wife bought a pair from a friend. She loved them. She likes them to this day, but the resale value is washed up. So I've seen them at resale or at the thrift stores more and more often. Just like when LuLaRoe came out, it was super hot. You found the couple at a thrift store and they sold quick, but then all of a sudden the thrift stores got flooded. That's what's happening with Zia. They're starting to get flooded. They're just not reselling. Go to comps online, go to sell-through rate. You can see they've gone down big time. They make leggings. Actually, they even make stuff for men now, but they make sweaters and sweatshirts and all sorts of stuff like that. Athletic, again, probably good quality, whatever, but I'm in the business of buying it and reselling for a profit. And Zia has just got kicked off my 2024 list. Another brand I used to buy that was super hot was Bonobos. Bonobos pants, just a twill, 5-pocket khaki pant. Used to be a pant I'd buy and they would sell really quick. Or even the Weekday Warrior, if you're familiar with those, or the dress pants, even the button-up shirts, they would all sell really well for me, as in like $5 into the pants would be in the 20s, the button-ups would be in the low 20s, even some of the pants would be in the 30s. But again, now there's just so much out there. I don't know if the styles changed, but the market's telling me that they're not selling as much or as well. I'll price them down to $17 and they'll still sit. So especially Bonobos jeans, I don't pick those up at all. I don't touch those at all for $7.99. But there are some Bonobos that I will pick up, and those would be the golf bonobos. So the golf line bonobos I'll pick up. And again, some of the blazers I'll pick up. Again, there's the asterisk, right? There's the sum. But for the most part, I don't pick up. The golf line does well. So really anything that has that polyester, wicking, golf material, golf line clothing, that stuff does well for the most part across the board. But bonobos, yeah, that's just a brand that I don't pick up anymore. Another brand that came on the scene really, really quickly and was super hot, and then again, it's in and it's coming out. And why do I know that? Because the last time I was at TJ Maxx, it's like it just threw up all over the place. It's called Gymshark. So Gymshark used to be a really good seller for me. It might be for you too. Everyone's different. Everyone's model's different. Again, like I said, what sells for me might not sell for you. What sells for you might not sell for me. But for me, I don't pick up Gymshark anymore. When I find it new at TJ Maxx for $14.99 for tops and pants or whatever, that tells me, why would someone go spend $20 used on eBay when you know people are buying them at TJ Maxx and throwing them online? So not picking them up anymore. Look at comps, look at sell-through rates. It will show you right now that it's just gone downhill. So I'll stick to Lululemon. I'll stick to Viore. Rhone has kind of come down a little bit, but I'll still pick up Rhone. It's Rhone. But Viore and Lululemon still do well. Real quick, off the top of my head, I'm going to list some brands I just don't pick up at all. Tommy Hilfiger, Michael Kors, George, Nautica, Calvin Klein. Those are brands I don't pick up. I haven't picked up those brands for years. There was a time period, again, maybe 2018, 2019, something like that, where Tommy Hilfiger stuff was super hot. That's actually what got me into reselling clothing. Was 2016 when my first piece of clothing was a really big hit, Tommy Hilfiger, and I sold it for like $60 on the sweatshirt. And that was a really good sale. But ever since then, I think like the Jenners and whoever, all them, and what is it, Caitlyn and Kylie Jenner and Kim Kardashian, they brought it out, made it popular, and they don't wear it anymore, so it's not popular anymore. So I don't know. That's just what I tell people in my lives. But that's just not a brand I pick up anymore. Whether it's vintage or new, I don't pick it up. Nautica, same thing. And then Michael Kors, don't pick up. I've never picked up that brand. Calvin Klein, I don't pick up that brand either. Of course, in the beginning, I made mistakes there. I think there's a Calvin Klein Liquid Touch, something like that, polo. It's really good, feels really good. It'd be great for the personal use, but the resale wasn't there. I picked up that brand to learn the hard way. This next brand I'm going to tell you is probably going to be a little controversial, but it's TravisMathew. Again, I talk about it in my lives. You see brands that go up, they're really popular, they peak, and then they kind of come down. TravisMathew is on that down route to me. So the brands that are coming up in the golf line are maybe Bad Birdie or Roebuck or G4 or Holderness and Bourne. I have a whole video on golf polos, but TravisMathew is starting to come down. And again, having done this, you see brands go up and down. And TravisMathew's kind of being one of those. I would get $28, $30 every time for TravisMathew. Now I'm super duper picky. I don't want to say I'm not going to pick them up, but I'm going to be really picky, especially with the polo shirts. They have to have something special about them. Again, an all over print, but for the most part, I'm not going to pick up TravisMathew polos. They really sit for me, and I like a fast sell-through rate. I like to churn and burn. I like to buy it for $5, sell it for 20-ish or whatever, and get rid of it. And TravisMathew polos just haven't done that for me. Pants, yes. Shorts, yes. Some of their other stuff, yes. Button-ups haven't done well, but I know you guys are going to be upset with me, but I just have skipped over a ton of TravisMathew. And why? Because I have a tote full of TravisMathew that did not sell last season. So I just might need to retouch that. I need to revisit some of those. Maybe my pictures are off. And for the most part, I'm just not going to pick up TravisMathew polos anymore. It's simple as that. Now, I'm leaving off a lot. There are a ton to be spoken of, and I talk about them during my lives, and I'll make more videos about it. But I wanted to start off the new year with brands that I'm not going to be picking up anymore this year to resell online for a profit. If you have any suggested brands or brands I left off, you can put them in the comments. Or if there are any brands that you want to have an argument for or a discussion about, feel free to put it in the comments below. I always like discussing. Again, I was a teacher. I love talking about things and debating. But yeah, for the most part, these are not brands I'm going to be picking up anymore in 2024. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.